rehab politics, addiction politics, entertainment politics, how we find ourselves entertained by the trauma of others. And then how do we think about addiction and rehabilitation in terms of who's allowed to be rehabilitated, and how do we consider, what do we think about when we see certain people addicted and others addicted? Do we have different perspectives regarding different racial groups, family groups? Identity politics is all over barbecue, and I think it's heavy content, but he's couched it in such a dark humor that there's a lot of giggling going on, and afterwards you think to yourself, "Oh my God, should I have laughed at that? Was that funny? That person's life is falling apart." But so I'm looking forward to everybody coming out. Friday the 17th is opening night, Oscar night, and it's our Oscars night, and it'll run through February 2nd at the Coronado Playhouse. Wonderful cast, and we're having a great time putting it together for the people. So I hope the people come out and see it.
Nice. And why now? Why do you think, how does this fit into the programming there in terms of why they're doing this particular playwright in this play?
Ooh, well, that's a good question. And I'm not sure why they decided to call me right now, but I do know that this is their 80th season. So it's a pretty big deal. And this is the opening show of their 80th season. So, and it's a San Diego premiere. So I think we just wanted to hit a lot of nails on the head with let's do something different. Let's do something that's big thematically and do something very different thematically for Coronado. And this show checks all those boxes.
I'm excited to see it. I read the script and there's a lot going on.
I did it first as a reading a couple of years ago at the Old Globe. So the San Diego Black Artists Collective have a residency at the Old Globe every year for the last few years, a week or two, in the theater in the Round. And, BAC was looking for, what are we going to do for this residency, And I said, you know what? I have read this play that is out of sight, and I really want to do it as a staged reading. Let's do this play. So we did this play, and a few different people saw it, and one of the people was Desha Crownover, who is executive director right now, interim executive director over at San Diego Junior Theater, and also on the board at Coronado Playhouse, former chair, and now she's, a board member. And so she saw it. We've been friends for a while, and she saw it, and she said, "We got to find a way to produce this thing 100%. And I'm like, "Girl, find the place. I am there. We are doing it." And, this opportunity came up. She's like, we're going to open the season with barbecue. Are you ready? And I'm like, buckle up. Let's go.
Ooh, it's going to be a ride, huh?
Yes. Everybody get ready.
So as I look at this photo of you as a director, what's kind of like your approach to directing? I mean, in your own words, how do you see the responsibilities or the job of the director? I mean, kind of like the orchestrator. But what is your approach to directing a play?
Well, I have been a teacher for 27 years. So I like to come at things a little bit collaboratively in a way that I don't want to assume that the actors don't have a connection, that they don't know what's happening. I'm not a puppet master type of director. I want to see, what can you bring to it? And then let me help you shape that. I have a vision for the show. But at the same time, if an actor feels a certain way about their character, I want to listen to that. I want to hear what they have to say about their character. And if it integrates well with what I'm thinking and what the other actors are bringing, then I like to use that. So I'm always looking like those types of pictures. That's me looking for the synergy. I'm looking for is what they are doing matching with the tone and the theme and the time and the pacing and what everybody else is doing. Can we make that work together? Because in the end, right, at opening night, they're on the stage. I'm gone, on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So can they make it work for 3 or 4 or 6 weeks or whatever with the blocking that I've given them? I'm giving you blocking. I want you here at this moment. I want you there at this moment. This is what works for, these iconic scenes. And now getting there, I like to think of actors as artists. All of my own personal children are performers in some kind of way, so I've lived with it for 30 years. And I have heard so many times, I'm just, strangled. The director is smothering me. This is, I can't see the vision, and if you don't share what your vision is with your actors, how are they going to get on board with you?
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like I'm driving the coach. I'm driving the wagon. I want them on it in there. So let's go together. And that really takes everybody. I'm more of a collaborative worker. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is what's up. And so just finding out that you are a musician as well as part of your long list of talent, maybe you can reveal to us now what is it what instrument you play?
Well, I started playing the flute in 6th grade, something like that. And so when it came to, I just always loved music, and my grandparents started a church here in San Diego in 1974, Philadelphia Baptist Church over in Barrio Logan. Yep. And so I was always singing in the choir and playing the piano in the church. Like, first I started off with 2 fingers playing, and they're like, very encouraging, they said, do it. So just a background of heavy music and gospel music in my life, and playing the flute. And when I got into UCSD, I decided I was going to be a biology major. I thought I wanted to be a pediatrician. And then I got to look at university chemistry, and I'm like, oh, no. Not happening. So I pursued a music major, and with an intent to teach music. And that's how I got into it, just joining different college bands. And I think it was 98 or 99. I auditioned for Tribe of Judah, reggae band here in San Diego. And I worked with them we were a great band together till like 2006 or 2007. Had a great time, played a few Bob Marley days back in the day when the sports arena was called a sports arena. I don't know what it's called now.
Oh, yeah. But
we used to have Bob Marley days there, and wonderful group of people. Sam Senko and Papa Dread, rest his soul, and Maestro, Rick playing on the keys. We just had a great time. I was, I didn't know if it would go anywhere, but it was fun at the time. I was younger.
Well, you mentioned something, and I just can't let you just breeze right by it, because I've heard about the one black church in Barrio Logan. Okay. Because it's like the original. There's only one. It's historical.
Is it?
In early Barrio Logan, I understood that was sort of a black neighborhood. Was what was explained to me.
Yes, back in the day.
And you wouldn't know that the way it looks now.
No, you wouldn't.
So that was interesting. That's part of your history.
Yes.
Wow, that's rather fascinating.
Yeah, it was a wonderful time. It was a great time to be alive. A little girl back then at church, walking to the store with 25 cents and being able to get a whole bag of candy.
Right.
That was good times.
Tell us about your experience with the Globe. You've done a bit of work with the Old Globe Theater here in San Diego. Yeah,
I've been a teaching artist with the Globe for many years now, maybe 7 years going on, maybe 8 years, something like that. But I love the teaching artist troupe there, the arts engagement department, really going out into the community and meeting people where they are to talk about theater, hopefully bringing them into the Globe. But if they don't ever come to the Globe, we're still going to go out there to them and do different kinds of workshops and in services.
Right.
I also do a lot of work on campus at the Globe, the post show with like Fat Ham. Did you guys see Fat Ham when it was here?
I didn't see
did
it.
Not.
I wanted.
Oh, it was so wonderful. Well, anyway, after certain shows, like Tuesdays and Wednesday nights, there's a person like me who will go on stage afterwards, and the actors will come out and kind of facilitate a talk back with the audience, and it just helps the audience to feel closer to the show, feel closer to the actors, get to know them as people, and talk about their process. And I enjoy that quite a bit. And also working with community voices, which is where a lot of 10-minute plays are written by people in the community, going out to various communities. I started in City Heights doing that work, and have just community voices, I think, is my jam. I'm really in love with how do we get the people in the neighborhoods to say, art is here where we live already. I don't need to go anywhere to be artistic. I can do it right here in my neighborhood.
Wow.
So that's a goal that I'm pursuing on another endeavor that I have is like neighborhood arts.
Mm-hmm.
But working with the Globe has facilitated a lot of that. I met a lot of great people and, learned a lot of great strategies. And yeah, I love that work.
How did you transition from being a musician to a theater maker?
Oh, well, I had kids. And so that will take your weekend down to nothing in a minute. You may know. Doing shows Thursday night through Sunday night with kids is tough.
Mm-hmm.
And all of my revenue that I was ever making, was going right to paying babysitters.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks to my mom, would keep them a lot for me when I would have Thursday night gigs or Friday night gigs and Saturday night gigs. But she couldn't do it all the time. And so sometimes I would end up paying people, and it just, I was tired a lot after that, and I still had to work. Teaching sixth grade, when you've been up all night on a Thursday night, you walk into class with a bleary eye on Friday morning, they are like sharks, and you are blood.
They're going to eat you up.
Yes. So I could not keep it up. I could not keep up the pace. I had to make a different decision, like, how am I going to still be artistically involved? And my kids brought me back around because they were interested in theater. Mm-hmm. And it made me remember when they got old enough, like, oh, I want to do this. And so I was taking them to their rehearsals, and I thought, you know what? That was me. I was doing this. Let me get back into this. And I went back to get my master's at, I think I was 47 or 46.
Wow.
It aged me exponentially to have a teenager at home and be doing a full-time master's program and working full-time teaching elementary school, but I did it.
And you're working with your kids, right?
Yeah, my own personal children.
And yes, with your various endeavors. Talk about that.
Well, let's see. Back in 2016, when I was getting my master's degree, my youngest was always interested in theater. He was the last one home. All my kids are like 5.5, 6 years apart, just because I'm crazy. And so he was the only one home, and he was deeply into junior theater. But he said, I wonder if there was a way that kids could do theater and not have to pay. Why are we paying? And I said, well, that's a good question, son. Let's explore that. With your third one and you're 35 or 36, it's pretty much everything's like, okay, whatever you say. And so, but I had been thinking about it, actually, as pursuing my curriculum in my master's degree. And so we got a business plan together and applied for a 501c3. And it was lucky for us, I guess, kind of in a way, that COVID was on the brink, and they were just okaying 501c3s in record time. And we got our permissions. We opened up the theater company.
In the name?
Teenage Youth Performing Arts Theater Company. And we started doing productions. We got a little grant funding. We had a couple of parties. Some people believed in us really deeply. Thank you, Amy. Believed in us and had parties for us, and people donated, and we lived on $6,000 for about a season and a half.
Wow.
Yeah. Buying rights to shows. We did Tick, Tick, Boom by Jonathan Larson, and it was very successful. And then we did Dogfight. I can't remember the authors. All of a sudden, it just disappeared from my brain. But a couple of musicals, and the kids came out, and they loved it. But then, like so many small theaters, COVID took its toll, and we just, it became very difficult to operate in person. But with my youngest son, and then my oldest son directed a show that we had directed, Dogfight. So it was kind of a family endeavor as well. It was nice to have so many. It was like making my own baseball team. Everybody's an artist, and so we could put on a show. I could put on a show with a give me a couple of kings, and we could do a show.
A couple of kings.
Yeah, and that's what I had. My sons.
But you have a nonprofit now.
Yes, and so now we kind of transitioned from doing that kind of hands-on. I was managing director for Teenage Youth Performing Arts. It's a lot of administrative work, and so I took that experience and said, let me think of another way to facilitate the arts in San Diego. I'm getting a little older, and boots on the ground work's pretty tough. So as I mentioned earlier, my grandparents had started a church here, Philadelphia Baptist Church, in 1974. And they both passed, but the building was still there. And the family, we were kind of, what are we doing with this building? What's happening? And we were kind of my grandmother was being charitable and letting other churches use it, but it was falling into disrepair. And it was going to cost us more than we had to fix the building. So I spearheaded the sale of the property, and we sold the property. And with the proceeds, we decided that we're starting the King Center for Performing Arts and Culture. There we go. Cultural and Performing Arts at King
Very
Center.
nice logo.
Yeah, so we've been working on that plan for a while. That logo, by the way, was done by my wonderful, talented daughter-in-law, Nguyen King.
Oh, wow.
Also a graphic artist and beautiful dancer. Her got their BFA in dance from San Diego State also. Wonderful dancer, wonderful mother to my beautiful grandchild, Zoe. Hey, Zoe. And so anyway, the King Center, the idea there was how can we continue to facilitate art? None of us were called to the ministry in my immediate family. So we're like, how can we continue the name of Reverend Herman and Sister Bleachy King and the good work that they did in the San Diego community the way that we know how? Mm-hmm. And I'm just very theatrical and artistic. I said, look, you guys, we can do this. We can help other artistic endeavors in town with this money, right, with our know-how. Let's become a portal where young people, particularly, can find an artistic outlet. So we're talking about internships, right? Maybe at a theater company, at a dance company. A lot of companies want to give internships, but they don't always think about artistic endeavors as a place where a young person could get a viable internship. They're thinking about something more traditional, health offices and law firms, and those things are all great. But there are so many careers in the arts, as we know, people never see. I'm a backstage person myself with directing and my dramaturgical work, all the research. People don't know those are jobs that you audition for once. You get the job and you're in. You don't audition over and over again like an actor would have to. And so that is our goal, is to facilitate education in the arts and generate some internships, generate some scholarships for people who want to go into the arts. And I think we're also going to sponsor one for theology, as our grandfather was a preacher and a very fine preacher. I think he would appreciate us offering one scholarship if somebody wants to go into theology still. I don't know if people still do that, but we want to help them if they do. And just create ways for San Diego artists to get out into those communities and teach young people the San Diego history that they know and the art that they know that exists in San Diego. You don't always have to go to the theater, wherever that is. It's in your neighborhood. And the King Center we want to be poised to bring that out in neighborhoods.
So how can someone watching this podcast, how can they donate to the King Center? How can they support the King Center in any way? Or how do they get in touch with you or the center? How's that done?
Well, since we're still in planning phase, we've done one event so far, and it was super successful. We worked with the Harvey family. They were helping the victims of the floods here in San Diego from last January.
Yeah.
And so we were present at their fundraiser, giving out hygiene kits and just disseminating my card, mostly with my email, is how people can get in touch with us most of all. We just want to find collaborations of already existing. There are people already doing good work in this town. Mm-hmm. They just need some help to get a little further. And that's where the King Center wants to be involved. My card is here, but if you show my email at any point in time, anybody can email me and we can talk about collaboration. But that's the stage that we're in right now.
And so you're going to be connecting youth with these organizations.
Yes.
And pulling the youth in.
Yes.
So they can know about these opportunities. And then on the other end of it, you're also pulling these organizations in. So you're bringing them both together.
That's right. We want to be a portal for connection, to entice and educate the youth to see how they can be active in their own communities. They can start these endeavors in their own communities. I was talking to a young man at the wonderful Umoja celebration at the World Beat Center a couple of weeks ago. And we just got to talk, and he's like, I teach step to different communities. And I was like, oh, I did what you did with my eyes. Like, oh my gosh, I've been looking for someone to do that. So what the King Center could do, something like, is pay him for his time to go into different rec centers that will set up the classes, and then they can tell their neighborhoods, this class is free. Mm-hmm. And he's going to get paid. The people in the community are going to have a fantastic novel experience of connection and community with each other, something they can talk about when they run into each other on the street now. And we just want to keep on furthering that connection. That's the kind of thing we are looking. We're looking for people who want to be put in different, positions to teach the young people and work with communities and building their own artistic grassroots presence in their own neighborhoods.
And I love that idea of letting them know that what's possible, because it's amazing how folks don't know what's possible.
They do not.
Until you teach them.
That's right. And San Diego being like the most expensive place to live in the nation right now, everybody's working. You know, you're working all the time. You're working day, you're working night. And to think about, oh, I need a break, you know, or I need to get in touch with myself. Art is that way. Art is that connection. Theater is that connection to connect with someone that you've never met. You can connect with them through a role and creating empathy. And that furthers our connection, you know, as a community, as a society. We're getting so separated from each other over things that do not matter.
Do you think arts and theater, do you think it can save the world?
Well, I think that's lofty and wonderful. And
Come on.
I'd like to think that I think that. But, you know, somebody told me once, I think I was in a class, and they were telling me about a play that someone had written about the disappearings in Venezuela or Argentina, like the bad years. Somebody wrote a performance piece about it. Did it change anything? No, it did not. It informed people, and so hopefully those things don't reoccur, right? Because we're made aware, and that's what I think theater can do. Is make you aware, and then each individual person, you know, you pick your battle, you pick your fight. What are you going to be involved in? And maybe that play about the disappeared is helping someone to say, you know what, that's something I need to get in touch with. My roots are in that country, and I need to go find that out.
And it's a seed. They're seeds you're planting, and you never know when they're going to germinate and take root.
That's right. Plant a seed in your garden. That was the title of the album that I did with the band I was with Tribe of Judah. It was Bloom Where You're Planted. That was the name of the album, which is still on sale on Amazon, believe it or not.
Oh,
yeah.
There you go.
You can buy that album for like $6.
Can I take you back a few years to the Moxie Theater?
Oh, yes.
I think you were on stage there, Our Lady of
Kibeho.
Yes.
I love the Moxie. Big ups to the Moxie promoting women playwrights and all the work that they do. It was years ago. Like I said, my youngest is an actor, and both sons are actors, but the youngest one went out for this role of Emmanuel. And so I went there waiting for him like I usually did, waiting in the car. And he motioned to me to come in. And so the thing is, they had 3 villager roles open, villager 1, 2, and 3. And so they offered me the role because they knew me through my dramaturgical work that I had done with the Rep. And I thought to myself, well, I've got 2 choices. I can sit in the car while he's at rehearsal, or I could go in and be in rehearsal. So I took the role, and it was a wonderful, fantastic experience. Our director was Jen, one of the founders of the Moxie.
Right.
And that play got held over, I think, twice.
Yes.
Very popular. John Brooks, it was me and John Brooks and Taylor, whose last name escapes me, but we were the village, and it was just a fantastic experience, a real learning experience about the Rwandan genocide. You know, that they used machetes to save bullets.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a reality check. Like sometimes, and I think that's the same a little bit with barbecue. You can take the work and fictionalize it so people can digest it, but then later they need to have something to think about later. You know, and that little piece of reality that you put in the show, or in Our Lady of Kibeho, was a great big dose of reality, couched in something somewhat fictional so that people can accept it and it's not so abrasive. But later on, when they're having their self-talk conversations, what was that show about? What was it really about? They need to make a connection with the reality and the theme and the human toll that it took to get that show on stage, right? For that author, that was Katori Hall, I believe, right? To get that piece of writing on the page, what she had to go through and learn about to fictionalize something so terrible.
And you mentioned dramaturgy. Can you talk a little bit about, to even just educate our viewers as to what dramaturgy is and how that incorporates into your work?
You know, dramaturgy, I thought it was one thing, but it turns out it is whatever your director wants it to be, which is fine for me too. I am like a research hound. I love to research. I will fall into the research, that black hole, in a minute, and I'll see you in a week. Normally, for me, dramaturgy has been a matter of researching shows, right? Looking at different texts and helping a theater company decide if a certain show is right for that place in that demographic at this particular time. Is this the right show for this place? If it's not, can we couch it in a way that makes it right for this community at this point in time? Also helping the actors to delve into their roles by doing research around, for instance, I did a big piece of dramaturgy for the show Sweat, another wonderful Lynn Nottage show back in the days of the Rep. And so it's about the steel mills, right, and the opioid crisis. So my job was to research the opioid crisis and the closing of the steel mills back east and how those two things intertwined, and give that information to the actor. Now, actor, how do you empty yourself out and put this in to bring some flesh to the role, knowing that these things are true? Now what are you going to do? And just little things like when they sang happy birthday to a character in the show, it was a black family, and they had written, and everybody just started singing happy birthday to, and I'm like, no.
That's
that is not what we would sing at the birthday party. It'd be happy birthday.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how that gets, even little things like that. And so you're sitting in the audience and you're like, yes. And that dramaturgy can be the difference, I think, between a connection and something falling flat. You know, not hitting the ears of who you're trying to get it, who you're trying to land on properly.
Those nuances and layers.
Yes.
It kind of made me think about why a black person should be directing August Wilson plays for these little nuances, like what you described.
And a black person from, you know, his hometown, because he wrote a lot about exactly where he was from, those kinds of things, but definitely specifically. And, you know, that hits on all kinds of identity politics, you know, barbecue as well. It hits on identity politics. Who can go to rehab? Who, you know, race, gender identity, who gets that acceptance? Why is it okay for some people and not okay for others? Right? And so all those identity politics, I think, are true with everything in theater. Yeah, down to who's directing.
And so before we close out, let's remind people about barbecue from January.
Yeah, opening this Friday, January 17th. At 8 p.m., Oscar night, come dressed to impress.
All right.
And running through February 2nd, come and see just a roller coaster ride of satire and farce and fun. I can't tell too much. Sorry. The plot twist is huge.
So what's a little bit that'll draw us in, that want to pull in there and see what that plot twist is?
So it takes place at a public park. The O'Mallory family has decided that they have had enough of their sister's crackhead tendencies. And they're going to do an intervention out in public because nobody wants her in their house because she's going to tear everything up. So we're doing the intervention in the park, and we're going to go from there.
All right.
Wow. That's
There we go. Okay. Go. Yes. We're going to have an intervention in the park. There I am. I love that. My shadow, they see me when I'm close up like that, they know something's coming. It's like, why is she getting so close to the stage?
And so what genre is this? Is this considered a drama, or what can we expect in terms of what's the texture of this play?
That is a really great question because it's multi-layered. It's like an onion, I think, this play.
Interesting.
It's like an onion. You, on the outset, if you take it at face value, say, oh, it's a comedy, right? Then you look a little deeper and you get a little further into it and you say, oh, this is a satire. We're definitely making fun of something real. Oh, and it's a dark satire because we're making fun of something real that's terrible. You know, people die. In this country, you know, we weren't considering opioid addiction something very serious until certain senators and Congress people's kids came down with opioid
That's
addiction,
right.
and all of a sudden it was a thing that was done to them by society, not something that, those people can't pull themselves up by their own bootstraps.
That's what they said about crack.
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah,
Yep.
so you're
The
right.
people
Yeah.
without boots pulling themselves up by
Yes.
their own bootstraps. But when important people needed rehab, then all of a sudden, oh, wow, look how covered it is by your HMO now. Wow, that's amazing. So all those politics play into the show. I think they played into why Robert O'Hara wrote it the way that he did, so that you could accept it with comedy, but then later on, you're going to think about the drama and the trauma and process it differently.
Right, because he wrote it in 2007, 8. It's been a while.
I'll take your word for it.
I think so. I think
Yes.
it's been a minute.
Yeah. But it's a San Diego premiere, so we're very proud. We're very proud to present this for the 80th season of Coronado Playhouse opening show, barbecue.
Wow, that's huge. That's a big deal.
And it is cooking. It's a barbecue in a lot of ways. People get raked over the coals.
Roasted.
They get roasted.
They get roasted.
Yes, some belief systems are going to get roasted.
What do you have something on the horizon after that?
Oh.
What do you got coming?
I do. I'm so excited too. Aside from teaching music in Chula Vista with the elementary school students there, which I love very much, I'm going to be doing Macbeth in summer for the Summer Shakespeare Festival at Southwestern
Get
College.
out of here.
play.
Get out of
excited, yeah.
here.
Buckle up.
Buckle up.
Yes, I want a scary Macbeth, and that's what I'm going full on.
Don't we have to like turn around in 3 circles and pat our heads? So
Well, if we're in the theater,
We're in the theater, right?
We're okay. This
We're
is
okay.
like a studio,
Okay.
so I think, but if you have some salt, we should start throwing
Oh,
it.
yeah.
But that's what I'm doing this coming summer. So when you hear about that, and it starts, I think we're opening in August. It's like we're gonna teach June, July, and then it's gonna open in August. So keep on the lookout for that. Very excited.
Are we talking like modern day setting Macbeth, or do you have this figured out yet, or what are you kind of
working
leaning towards?
Working on it. I know I'm not doing traditional, Scottish setting.
Yeah.
It'll be 20th century,
Okay.
and the witches will be scary as bleep. I need a fight coordinator. I need a fight coordinator with knives.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh, you going in?
I'm going in. I'm going in. We're gonna. Have
oh,
some
this is
fun.
gonna be fun.
Yes. Yes. People sometimes they don't want to go see Shakespeare because it feels like, oh, I'm not going to understand. It's going to be boring. I'm going to bring it to the people's doorstep.
Yeah.
Please say something else about that. I mean, that's, what you just mentioned is important. Like Shakespeare is for
yes.
everyone. Like you don't have to just go to theaters in San Diego when there's a black play.
Right.
But the Globe puts on Shakespeare. Why should people not be intimidated by what can they really pull from? Because it is rich.
Yes, it is rich. And if you go someplace like the Globe to see Shakespeare, you're going to get a great experience because they know how to treat it over there. They understand it deeply over there. Barry Edelstein, the artistic director over there, really understands deeply how to make it connect with regular people.
Right, right.
How to speak it and make it make sense. And it's a skill. It's a talent. I learned a lot from him. I'll be taking a lot of his tutelage into the room with me when I go to Southwestern. But it really is for everybody. But I think the difference is, and everybody can understand it, it's the way that it's done. I really have to put it to that because I've seen it done poorly and just like, and I've seen it done well and just can't get off the edge of my seat. It's understandable. You just have to it's like anything else. You kind of downshift your brain, open it up and let the words come in and they start making sense. If it's, like I said, if the people understand pacing and their timing and their meter and they've been properly directed, it makes clear sense. A lot of people avoid it because they can't tell. And the Globe does a wonderful trunk show, a traveling show, Globe for All.
Yes.
So they take those shows on. The last one we did, they did As You Like It just recently, and it was done bilingually.
Wow.
So thank you. You can do that.
Yeah.
Why are we holding on to old traditions and tropes? Who makes things classic is a question I like to ask in my artistic life. My own pedagogy is we the people. We create the classics. We say what gets to be classic. So it gets to be classic if it resonates with me, and if it's bilingual and we're in San Diego, hello.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you need to do to reach the people. Yes. Do what you need to do to reach the people.
I think also, let's say you put Shakespearean plays next to August Wilson plays, the whole century. So fundamentally what you have is it's just human situations.
Yes.
Emotions.
That's right.
Drama. I mean, this person's wife sleeping. I mean, there's all of these things. It's fundamental, is at the core of what these performances are.
That's right. That's right. Human connection, the storytelling piece. Yeah.
Yes.
We have always loved that storytelling, and just because they used a slightly different vernacular, different language, doesn't mean the story is any different. I love the, oh my gosh, I'm not sure what the name of the program is. I can't think of it, but it's going into the prisons. That Globe does some of that, and some of the most deep and telling testimonials I have heard have been from the teaching artists that go in and do this work. Mm-hmm. It's one thing to talk about killing someone, a show about killing someone over adultery. Mm-hmm. It's another thing to talk to somebody who did that.
Oh my!
That Shakespeare hits them on a whole different level. Talk about resonating. If Shakespeare is in the prison house and they are understanding it and using it for like their own rehabilitation and self-awareness and understanding, all of us should take a note from that and be doing that. Yeah. It is not beyond anybody to understand Shakespearean themes and August Wilson themes, which are also, I think, so Shakespearean in many ways. The Lion King is like Hamlet.
It's all universal.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Wonderful way to make a connection. That's my deal. After teaching for so long, I love telling stories, and theater is just one more platform for me to be able to do that.
Wow, I love it.
Yeah.
So, you have any parting words, parting gems you wanna send out to the theater community here in San Diego?
Well, I just want to thank everybody in San Diego for being such a supportive theater community, and we got to talk to each other. We have to be together. We need to bring each other along on all of our endeavors. Mm-hmm. When we work together and we have successful relationships, we need to just keep growing on that and create a network of community, different kinds of intersectional communities where we're supporting each other. And hi, Mickey Vale. Soul Kiss Theater is a great proponent of that. Mickey Vale Soul Kiss Theater. I worked with her theater company with the Globe, also that intersection. And now I'm working with Mickey Vale at Coronado Playhouse. She's a wonderful sound designer. And some of the actors from Soul Kiss Theater are also in the Coronado Playhouse production. So we just need to keep growing our base in that way.
Mickey Vale's part of this performance, Barbecue?
Mickey Vale is sound designer.
Oh, my.
So that's what I'm saying. We worked together. She called me to direct her show, and we danced for 2 rappers, 2 plays.
Oh, man.
So that was successful, right? Now, wherever I go, if I need a sound designer, I'm calling up Mickey. And I want us to do that more often, to lean on each other, call each other.
That is what's up.
We need to take up space. Like you said, we need to take up space and be in those spaces.
Wow,
I love that.
That's the business.
That's what it is.
I think that's what the young people say these days. I don't know. That's
the business.
Someone's gonna tell me.
I don't know.
Michael, they're telling me right now. Okay, boomer.
I
know, right? But that's what's up.
Yes, that's what's up.
That's what's up.
Okay.
Yeah, the community.
Yeah. Maybe our staff can help us. What would a young person say in that situation? Oh, apparently, you're good. That's what the young people would say. Thank you so much, Kimberly King. I appreciate you. Thank you for taking out time on your Sunday morning, because you're directing today, right?
Yes, we have rehearsal in a couple hours.
Oh man, so
double duty.
Thank you coming to our little humble show, Theater Corner Green Room.
I appreciate you. I appreciate this show, and I appreciate you calling me. I don't, like I said, I'm behind the scenes a lot, so I don't normally get calls, and I appreciate you being interested. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. You guys are fantastic.
This has been wonderful.
Thank you. You need to be called more often.
Call me. Somebody call me. I'm available. Give me a call.
Right. And again, just a reminder, your the King Center is your nonprofit.
Yes,
and
King Center for Cultural and Performing Arts. going more live very shortly.
Very good. All right, co-hosts, we're going to sign off. And thank you, folks, for tuning into another episode of Theater Corner Green Room. And I want to thank our generous sponsor, the Mental Bar, and their workaholic cold brew right here. And it's modern coffee for the modern achiever. That's the slogan. It's beautiful stuff. And don't forget to go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, and you'll be alerted and notified when the next episode is coming up, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And we will see you next time. All right.
I'm almost make it out my way. We see you. Black excellence is the new way. We see you. The time is now, baby. Why wait? We see you. No preview. We see you. Black excellence, we with the culture. Talk about relevant. Talking about it in a room with the elephants. March it out, walk it out like pedestrian. Shakespeare. Talk about elegance, real talent in the prevalence. So refreshing like a peppermint. Got the blueprint. Leave 'em marked like a footprint. Oh yeah. Martin Luther King had a dream. I'm the one, yeah. Number one like Sydney with the Oscar and the funds up. Hands up. If you ain't scared of change, don't you change up. Don't you swig it out my way. We see you. Black excellence, this the new way. We see you. The time is now, baby. Why wait? We see you. No preview. We see you. Work it out. Back up. Wait a minute, hold on. We see you. Silence your cell phones. You're about to enter Theater Corner. Interview alleges hot topics. Tune in, we stay up on them. Flash check, lens check, strike the pose, we gon' stun on them. Sound check, we up next. TV set, having fun on 'em. Oh yeah. Martin Luther King had a dream.